What's going on, everybody? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Check out that intro, though.
Yeah.
Right. We hella fresh for the new season.
It's 21, man. You got to do new things in New Year's, right? That's the goal. You know, that's the goal. So how was everybody's New Year and their Christmas?
Shoot. Is it really a new year? It seemed like 2020 followed us into 2021.
Hey, this was a bad one, man. Normally I get to take my vacation, go back home to Cali for like 2 weeks. I'm stuck out here in the DFW and it's snowing, man. So didn't get the time I wanted with my family this year, but hey, we just blessed to be here to see another one. So we're gonna run it back.
Yeah, that's what I'm on with Jeff on, man. Hey, we had to change some things up we didn't normally do, but we gonna run it back.
Hey, it's mindset, right? It's mindset. You know what I'm saying? If you stay in the 2020 mindset, you're going to stay stuck in 2020. You get to 2021, then that mindset going to shift into new gear. So we jump into New Year's and, you know, happy Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and all that to everyone else. You know, before we get into today's topic, I wanted to make sure that, you know, we send out prayers and thoughts to everybody, their family, their friends, you know, blessings to those who are in the hospital who need strength. You know, we continue to hold everybody in our prayers and things of that nature. Today, for our season 2 of Braspective, we're going to talk about ways that build wealth in our community. And I think, you know, this conversation is going on in a lot of different places because rather people are getting ready for their stimulus package, or they're getting ready for their refund for their taxes or whatever it may be. We want to position people to get a little information on things that they can do to position themselves, not to have short-term money, but long-term money. So we reached out to a couple people today. One of our first guests, we're going to welcome to the show, Mr. Percy McGee. Percy, go ahead and tell us who you are.
You know, thank you, Dwan. I appreciate the introduction, man, and the opportunity to speak to my fellow brethren, you know, the brothers and sisters out there listening in. My name is Percy McGee. I'm a 21-year veteran with Merrill Lynch. One of, I would say, less than 200 plus at the firm. I'm a first vice president, which is something that took me a little bit of time to get to. I'm currently based out of Oakland, California, is where the brick and mortar is. I've been at this work from home status for, you know, like most other people since March. You know what I mean? If there was any information that was needed, therefore, after the program, or anything like that, you can see me on my LinkedIn page, or you can most definitely just look me up, Percy McGee at merrilllynch.com, and my profiles will most definitely come up. If there are, like I said, additional inputs on other things that may be of more personal nature, like I said, it's always welcome for you to reach out to me, and I got plenty of opportunities, whether it be the LinkedIn page, whether it be on the Bank of America Merrill Lynch website. Or you can reach me directly at 510-208-3805. My email address is Percy, PERCY _McGee, MCGEEJR @ml.com. That's direct to me. Everything's confidential. I'm a fiduciary. So I look forward for any interaction with my fellow brethren, as I talked about. Dwan, you know, I'll lead it back to you on that level now.
Oh, we appreciate that, and I'll make sure that we get that information up for our viewers can see. You know, we're still in a pandemic, right? So we're still in a situation where globally people are in chaos. And I know the first thing that happened with me and my family was the first couple of weeks of the pandemic. You know, there was a fear that banks were going to run out of money, so I started going to the banks and I'm trying to get out, you know, a lot of money that you find out that you can't really get out a lot of money at the banks in cash if you want, you know, right at the moment. But for you, Percy, in your field as a financial advisor, amongst the other things that you do, how was that time for you? Did you have a lot of people panicking?
You know, Dwan, very good question. You know, a lot of people just had a lot of uncertainty about what was to come. Relative to the market and finance, the impact was really not direct to us because of the continuity with everything being online and everything like that. We were able to functionally talk to all of our clients the day we actually couldn't go back into the office. So not to say that we were somewhat insulated from it. It was a frequent contact with all clients and people of importance to make sure that things are processing through, your money is safe, and at the end of the day, we can get to action, or we can get to whatever you may need within the same time frame that we did before the pandemic. So Dwan, it really wasn't that impactful in my particular industry or field.
Okay, thanks for that. Pete, go ahead.
Oh, so just to kick things off, I know that there's different people with different type of economic situations that usually pays attention to our broadcast. And so just to get us started, I was wondering, what's your best advice? And I mean, you can start here and take it where you want. But for those that sometimes go check to check, or sometimes they can put a little bit of money aside to save, and they're just trying to figure out, where do I get started? How do I get started? So if you can give us some advice on just where to get started, how to get started, and I mean, if it has to be hey, if you got paycheck to paycheck, maybe this is what you should do. Just give us, those individuals who are watching, some advice on what alleys or which ways they should start looking at their money. And I guess that's another way to look at it. How do you pay attention to your money just to get started from a beginning level?
Parrish, I appreciate that one. I look at it in this sense, and I'll go back for the paycheck to paycheck question. I look at, when you're trying to build a nest egg, if you're trying to build wealth to provide to your legacy, I look at it in three fashions. I look at, first is your active income. Your active income is that W-2, that blood and sweat, that 1099, where you turn it into the tax man every year, tax woman every year, to say, this is what I earn. Now, secondarily, after that active income, I look at your investment income. Okay. Now, to provide investment income, you utilize the opportunity of whatever your savings may be with your W-2 or active income, right? You should save a certain amount of what you have earned. You don't want to pay everything that you've earned out, but a lot of times it may get to that point. Once again, I will go back and address that, but you would likely, hopefully, be able to pay yourself at least 10% of your earnings outside of the taxes that you pay. At minimal, you would really like to be able to pay yourself 10% of your earnings. That would be toward that investment income, right? Third would be your passive income. If you get the opportunity where you can have the means to provide yourself, let's say, real estate exposure, let's say ventures, where you may be able to have lending opportunities where you have a higher rate of return on the monies that are coming back to you. Whatever it is that you don't have to use that W-2 or 1099 income to earn it, that's what is considered passive income. Now I'm going to formulate that all together real fast. Okay. So your active income allows you to provide to your investments. Your investments can be in numerous facets, right? Now, what ends up happening is, if you have an opportunity where your employer provides you a pension, you have kind of gotten the opportunity to accelerate that passive income. And the reason being is because you now, at the end of the day, whenever you stop working, you now have that opportunity to have the same income, or at least close to what you were earning when you were working, right? So you've kind of pacified or mitigated a lot of that passive income. Most people don't have pensions nowadays. So you need to have the opportunity where whatever your company is giving you as an opportunity, 401k, 403b, 457, depending on what industry you work in, that is the easiest and the best money that you can save. And the reason is, all the monies that will go toward those instruments are all pre-tax, meaning the government, state or Fed, never touches that money. And that money is able to grow tax deferred all the way up until the time that most people retire, between that 62 to 68 years old, hopefully, right? Now, if you've been able to put a maximum into that investment side from your active income, then that opportunity may present itself where you can then go into that passive opportunity, where let's say investment real estate for that matter. Okay. You get in investment real estate. Hopefully you can work in a 10 to 15% cash flow opportunity. You can work down that mortgage that's in that investment income faster than the 30-year mortgage that you got on there. And within a shorter period of time than the 30 years, that money is now also paying you not only what you need in passive income, but you're getting a total return with the appreciation of that real estate. That's how real estate truly works. Truly works. Now, some people believe in different fashions and everything like that, but that's 200 years plus of history right there that shows that real estate is depreciated about 3.5% a year, right? Now, we've gone through an acceleration and everything like that, but real estate is traditionally for income purposes to supplement that opportunity for retirement. So that's kind of a broad-based parish right there, where you look at your active income, W-2, 1099, your investment income, where you look at maybe the opportunity of stocks, bonds, and things like that. And then that passive income, something that pays your residual income without you really having to go work for it, right? Now, I didn't want to leave back that opportunity, that you're the real question about what about if I'm check to check? If you're check to check, then what you really need to be doing is counting your pennies truly, right? Mm-hmm. And if the opportunity for you to maximize $200 on 1 month and you've paid all expenses, it is really best interest to try and put that in some type of savings account. Now, I'll give you this right here. Don't look at a traditional credit union or something of that nature. Don't look at a traditional bank or something like that. You need to look at some of those online opportunities like Discover or Orange or something of that nature that doesn't have a whole lot of man or woman power to run it. It's an online opportunity, so they allow you a little bit higher interest on the money that you hold idle rather than what you would get in a normal traditional credit union or bank account. It may not be a whole heck of a lot, but every penny is worth it when you count them. So that's that. Parrish, I just wanted to make sure I touch base right back on there. The opportunity still presents itself where you if you're not saving, neither opportunity likely will present itself for you to get a little bit ahead, right? That does happen. We've experienced that all before, but if you can be diligent and disciplined and try and continue to make sure that you're counting those pennies, they do work for you long term. And nothing that I will ever talk about is short term. So okay. I hope I covered that one pretty cool, Parrish.
I think you did. I believe you did, because from what I took down some notes myself, and I even like the way that you broke down the 3 different levels of looking at how your money is coming in. And I think me personally, I'm gonna have to probably rearrange some things to make sure that active turns into more passive. So thank you very much for that.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you brought up Discover. I preach to people all the time who may struggle, with saving. Look, go get your Discover account. They take the money out of your account every month. You set it up like a bill. So you want to take it out on the 15th of every month. They take it out. And then the thing that keeps you from kind of impulsively going back in there and taking the money to go shopping, it takes a couple of days for them to give you your money back. So about time you've had the thought of, hey, I want to go out and buy that new bag or those new shoes, you can't get your money. So it makes it a little harder or even easier for you to save it. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yeah. Dewan, I do believe, just to go on that, I do believe in that out of sight, out of mind. If I never got to touch it, I'm really not going to miss it. And I continue that process for a long term. I can see my cheese brilled. I really can.
Taff?
Oh, man, I was just going to say also, like I said, I'm super excited about this episode for multiple reasons. I definitely believe that it's important for us to start off this year telling our people and people in general just to, be financially aware. And with that said, just like we have our special guest, Percy, here, I also wanted to introduce our special guest, Hakees, business mogul in many different ways. I mean, he can flip it any way possible. He's really the true definition of a self-made Black man who's striving in America and making great strides on financial wealth for himself and his family. when we have portfolios like we have like Akis, I don't want to get all into his personal business. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce Akis and let him explain the rest about himself.
Man, my name is Akis Bryant. I didn't, took on a few different business ventures, along the years. But lately what I've been doing is just playing with the real estate, kind of basically flipping. I started off flipping to get my capital up. But now I've kind of been just more so still finding below market value multi-families and flipping those, but then refinancing out and keeping all my money. So I'm basically, initially I may come up with the money to get it, but after I get it, I get all my money back and just start collecting checks from that point. You know what I mean? To kind of build up my retirement and build up passive income where I don't have to do much. So that's what I'm on now. You know what I mean?
Free game.
It took a lot of saving, you know what I'm saying? When I was kind of making money and my friends were getting all the, the chains. I had it too, but I was more so finessing mine, but they, the cars and all the different things, the bottle popping, I had to sit down a little bit, you feel me, and miss out just to stack, just to accomplish the goal that I had for myself, you know what I'm saying, which was stack these units and get these checks rolling in, because once they start rolling in, you feel me, my money is still there, it's in the property. Now I'm getting these checks going, and now it's going to come on the first, so now I can, splurge a little bit, you know what I mean, and then, I got these checks rolling on the first of the residual passive income or whatever, then whatever else I do, that's extra still, you know what I mean, so just had to kind of save and sacrifice and put myself in position, but that's what I've been on. Yeah.
So Keeks, we appreciate you jumping in. If somebody was interested in getting into kind of flipping homes, I think everybody watch a little HGTV, and now everybody want to get into flipping, but it's a lot harder than what people think it is. What's some advice that you have for cats who are considering, our families that are considering jumping into the flipping game?
Man, so flipping is kind of risky, you know what I'm saying, because end of the day, the majority of flippers aren't actual contractors, so it's a lot of unforeseen situations that you can come across flipping. But I would say, man, what I try to do going into a project, I like to have two exit plans. One would be I calculate the numbers on how much rent this thing would get if I get stuck with it. You feel me? And as long as that rent could, more than cover the mortgage, then I'm rocking with it. You know what I mean? I look at the numbers based on if I was to sell it right, like when I first buy it, I don't wait for numbers in the future. I look at the numbers right there that day that I'm buying it. If I could buy this today and sell it later on the day, how much would I make after I pay my expenses, real estate commissions, blah, 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 blah. Then I look at how much I can sell it for once I fix it up and put it in better condition. Then I look at how much money I can rent it out for, just to, because one thing I don't control is the economy. So anything can happen with the economy, but if I was to get stuck with it, I do my holding numbers based on what Section 8 is paying. Because in this market right here, it's kind of it's a hot market for Section 8, and that's government money. Lately, I've been renting to the vest. I look at how much money I can collect and rent off of collecting Section 8 or any other kind of government program, is for sure. So I got the exit plan of renting it out, and I got the exit plan of selling it. You know what I'm saying? I like to have both those done. And refinancing out, making sure the numbers are going to be at a situation to where, because lately you can get like some 70, some 80, but I'll be trying to do like 60% loan to value, whatever the value is. I don't like to have more than 60% in it. Like, so I'm good at finding deals, basically, man. I end up, once I fix it up, the value of the house, if I borrow 60% of the value of the house, usually that's all my money back. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things I wanted to mention too is that just breaking it down too, right? Just for our viewers from all different angles. One thing that I learned through both of you guys through the pandemic, because I cross-reference game a lot between Percy and Ikes all the time, is that, and just simple for our people out there, if you out there buying and you can cash out on a $30,000 Porsche used, or if you can go and burn down a Gucci store for a quick 15 bands, between California, other states outside of California, these two gentlemen right here have taught me stack my chips and you can make a play, right? Like some people might look at Ikee's situation and say, damn, well, he's so deep into it right now. He's a mogul and I can't really get to that point. I ain't out here being able to do the deals he's doing. I can't do what Ikee's is doing. And I mean, I'd have no problem telling y'all the check come in real good and real nice, but
you can do it, right? Because you can find a, first of all, it's a house, no matter how much money you got, whether it's $1 or whether you got 30 billion. It's a property that you can buy for that amount of money somewhere in America. You know
Amen. And that's what I was trying to get to, is that point right there, is that in this pandemic, what I've learned from both of you guys, Percy being on the financial side, is that save whatever money you can and bring a deal to me that you think you want to make a play on. And what I've learned from Ikees is that if you have $1 in your pocket, there's always going to be a deal that you're going to be in play in. And that's kind of what I want to stress to, our viewers, our people out there, because we got people that watch all the way from the hood to the penthouse, and that this is not an unobtainable goal. I find that a lot of our some of our people out here, especially in the hood, they be having 700 plus credit scores. They just have that kind of fear of making that play. And if you guys can touch on that a little bit, I would appreciate that, because there are some plays that can be made. And sometimes our people short sell themselves because they think buying this house is this unachievable goal.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you this too. So, as far as buying a house, there's so many different ways to do it. You could do it with no money. Like if you in the hood, let's say, a few dope fiends. His mom just died. Dope fiend finna inherit the house. You could basically go talk to him, before he fucks it off and loses it, and get him to give him a few dollars and have him quick deed the house to you. Just go through escrow, so it's a clean deal, and get it for cheap. Like I have found one for like 300,000. I said, man, this thing is worth 500,000 if it's fixed up, right? Not even fixed up. It's worth like 500,000. Maybe, if it was like as is. So what I did is I talked to the Dolphin dude who had inherited it. Said, man, I give you 300 for it. Then my partner was trying to get in the game, so I told him, hey, look, I got a house for 400. You feel me? He basically gave the Dolphin dude 300,000, gave me 100,000, and then turned around and sold it for 495 or something like that. So I mean, you can find it if you really out there and kind of looking. You might not find one every day, but if you stay on it, you'll find something. You know what I mean? You just gotta know where to look. So like, the hood is a good place to start, especially if you out there and kind of what's going on. This dude's mom died. This dude just inherited a house. This dude's locked up. His his mom been sick. She on her way out now. The house going through probate. I done went to jails and prisons and all type of stuff to get documents signed, to get documents, visiting strangers. You know what I'm saying? Realizing they like researching them and finding out they was locked up, and go visit them with the get stuff notarized. You know what I'm saying? Through visits and closing deals. You know what I mean? But you can do it with no money if you really know how to do it. Adverse possession. If it's like a house in your neighborhood that's nobody's, just kind of abandoned. You feel me? If you kind of occupy, take care of it, and pay the property tax for 5 years, you feel me? Then you legally become the owner of that house without having no money in it. You know what I'm saying? So usually the houses that qualify for that are houses that are paid off, because normally when it's a mortgage on the house, the property, the bank makes sure that before the city or the county takes the house through a tax lien, they'll pay the bill. So usually if it's something like this, really the taxes aren't getting paid, it's a good chance it's paid off if it's like towards the last, like the 5-year period. You know what I mean? But if you pay it for 5 consecutive years, it's a law called adverse possession, where the house becomes yours. And my baby mama, her family, they got a few houses like that off adverse possession. You feel me? Well, actually, it was her grandmother who did it like that. 2 side by side off adverse possession.
Gotcha. I had a quick question for Percy too, and I don't know, Percy, did you want to get on that or?
No. I Keith laid it out pretty good.
Exactly.
Opportunity out there when in the real estate market. It's just about where you get in.
Sure. There was always, you talked about like this rule of 10%, and I don't think you elaborated on that too much. And my mom preached that to me when I was in college. I didn't do it. I wish I had, but kind of talk about the importance of that 10% rule if people could stick to that.
Well, hopefully what happens is by the time you get close to retirement, you know, you've reduced down your expenses and you've paid into a 10% of your earnings over the course of several years. I mean, you compound that significant savings, and that's just a basic rule. You know, you want to have it higher. You know, to be quite frank, you want to have it much higher. Most people pay over 30% of their income for where they lay, right? Their house. I mean, that's not, especially in California. It's very hard to be under that 30% situation. So 10% is just a starting point on where you want to say, look, for what I earn, I know I need to put this to the side. It's a good piece of liquidity in a position where you would need some additional capital or income. You've got that. You know that's more than sufficient, and that's just a good rule of thumb. It's just a real good rule of thumb. And I mean, you're already paying it somewhere else, so you need to pay yourself first.
Right.
Percy, what are some ways that life insurance is used to build generational wealth?
So life insurance can be utilized in several facets. So basic two, you got term insurance. You know, you pay like car insurance, and if you don't use it, it goes away, right?
Don't use it means you die.
Pretty much. So then you got permanent insurance, and permanent insurance in my world is utilized for covering estate tax and things of that nature. So I can give you an example of what people can use life insurance or has used life insurance before. You can get a variable universal life insurance policy, right? And you can overextend the payment, meaning that if the servicing of that was $150 a month, you can pay $300, $400, $500 a month, right? You don't want to pay over, because what you can do is put that into a MEC, a modified endowment contract, which can make that very, very taxable for you. We won't go any further than that, right? So you continue to make this payment, and over time, your accumulation inside of there with the investments you have can continue, and you can take those funds out with no taxes. It's like you take a loan against the policy. What happens is you keep a residual amount inside of there. The interest that for the amount that you've taken out gets charged back to the small account, and basically you can run that for a certain period of time before it exhausts. Now, if it does exhaust, you might want to talk to an accountant or a CPA.
All right.
Yes.
I'll leave it there.
So first, I did have another quick question for you too.
Yeah.
I just got keys 1,000 questions, but I mean, let me get this one out to you real quick. A lot of us go to work, and traditionally we're taught that, you know, we get these pensions, and we also now, I think that a lot of us are savvy enough to put a little bit of change into deferred comp. Do you agree with people in their early 20s, mid 30s that have been on a job for a while, taking money out of their deferred comp and betting on themselves for some type of investment in general? Not just everybody's situation is going to be different. I know the real answer to that is that let me see what's coming in and coming out and what they owe. But let's say a person is in a position where their 401, I mean, their deferred comp did well for them this year. They put in 7,000 or 8,000 and it made them 20,000. And they're like, you know what? This is year 2 or 3 into my job. I want to make a play for myself. Do you agree with people taking that money that is available to them and making plays for themselves, if possible? Can you answer that?
There is a I'll give it to you like this. Hakeem spoke about how he calculates his numbers and he understands what his entry point, and he has 2 ways: an exit of a sale and an exit on how he can compound his rental income and make sure his mortgage is covered if he so need be, right? If you have an opportunity where you've made the calculation that your net present value today for this venture that you're going to, it has surpassed the return you just received, that you jumped from that 7 to 20 grand, right? Then go ahead. It makes sense. Now on the backside, that not only has a tax impact, in twofold. Because you are under 59 and a half, you have now been hit with a 10% penalty.
Yep.
Coupled with, you have now added the full amount as your ordinary income, plus a tax hit. So it must be very substantial in order for you to have that opportunity. I'm not to say it doesn't work. You look at it in a short, intermediate, and long-term period. If the numbers effectively show that you will outperform, then it makes sense. I would suggest that most times it doesn't. And the only reason I say that is because the money that went in there was pre-tax. The money was earned on a tax-deferred basis. There's no investment, not even what Hakees does, not even what I do, is tax-free. When he makes a flip, he pays his taxes on it. When I make investment changes, I pay taxes on it, right? In that 401k, 457, or 403b, that pre-tax contribution and that tax-deferred growth, there's no investment that outperforms that.
But you know, it's some kind of new little thing where with real estate that you can defer, and if you defer for 10 years, it becomes tax exempt with that opportunity zone.
So it depends on how you structure that real estate purchase, though, too, right, Akis?
You just have to basically buy it in a certain area. Then you have to fill out a form that basically, I forgot the name of the form, but I did it with my accountant. That puts that property in the fund. Like you run the money through the fund and you make the purchase, and it's like in certain designated areas that they're trying to basically fix up. You know what I'm saying? It's like certain low income tracts, basically. And then if you purchase a home and hold it in those areas for 10 years, then you get to defer the taxes all up into that. You feel me? And then you can even take money out of the stock market, and if you put it in opportunity zone, you can defer that too. It's a trip.
Well, opportunity zones, like I invest in opportunity zones through my firm, so I know exactly what you're talking about. And there's certain of them that's around in the areas and stuff like that. I didn't know you can go through individually and take care of that right there. That's new information, right?
Create your own fund. Yeah, you can do your own.
So that's other information right there. Hakees, I need to talk to you on the later. Right?
No, and you so let me just before you get in there, let me the one thing that I will say is that the reason why the moment is special for me is that I don't make a play without me and Jeff will discuss something. We first line, we'll lob it in the air and we'll volley it back and forth. After I get ready to make that play, there's two other people that I've talked to on the phone. I've talked to Akis and I've talked to Percy. And then another person that I talked to is my cousin, but he'll remain nameless for the moment right now. But by the time I go through my 4 channels, I typically have a meeting of what I call my own Bill Gates cabinet, that by the time I'm ready to make a play, it's a good position for me to be in. I definitely want you two to hook up offline because I just want to sit in the room when it happens, because that's going to be amazing. I ain't got enough money to even be in the room, but please let me just sit there front row seat.
Yeah, that form is called an 8996 form.
8996?
8996.
How important do you guys think that in this climate that we're in, right? With all, for whatever reason it is, whether the money's real or fake, how important do you think it is for our people that are getting unemployment, PPE money, all types of shit, to sit down to have these type of conversations with each other? Because there's a lot of money floating around out there. And if you could just hold it and not take that shit to the Gucci store, it's going to be a windfall for us.
I'll finish your thought, then I got something.
All I'm saying is this, right? People would assume that, in my field or in different fields that we're in, it's a lot of money sitting on this panel right now. Some more than others. My point to that is saying that you don't have to have a lot of money. You just have to have enough money to strike when the time is right. And you control when the time is right. Akis's time being right might be California, which means that he's fighting the king of the mountain, because California is a very expensive place to go. But you could be doing the same type of work he's doing in bumfuck Toledo or Ohio or anywhere, something like that, and still get in your papers. So what I'm saying is that when I sit in these rooms with these people, I might not be able to execute the same things that they're executing. And that's very important for me to get across to the viewers, because I want them to know there is levels to this money shit and where we can all play at. But at the same time, if you take the game that's sitting here in front of you, you can find a market where you can run your own corner and be your own king of the corner. You can be Nino in your own right. It doesn't have to be Nino in California or Southern California. Maybe you're going to be Nino or BMF in Detroit. Maybe you're going to be Nino and BMF in Ohio. Maybe you're going to be Nino and BMF in Memphis. But the point is that if you listen to what we're saying right now, you can go and boss up somewhere. And it's a lot. So how important do you feel it is for our people to have these type of conversations, knowing that all of this fake and free money is floating around? Because some point in time, that fake and free money is going to turn into real money.
Man, so I think it's very important. I noticed that when the EDD and all of the free money first start, first of all, it was like an epidemic of cars being broken into in the San Francisco, Oakland area. When you park your car,
your shit getting smashed out.
Yeah, and they go in there and steal your stuff, bit your laptop, different things. When the EDD money and all that free money came, I kid you not, that stuff stopped, right? And I'm like, dang, you feel me? But then, like the other day, I started seeing a few people posting that their cars being back broken into. So that was like a sign that people done fucked off their free money, man.
So before y'all go in, because I'm gonna stop interrupting on this one, the one thing I can say from a criminal justice police officer standpoint is that one of the least crimes that I've been taking reports for over this time that all this money has been floating in here is vehicle break-ins, vehicle burglaries. That smash and grab window shit where people didn't park their car over there at the Cheesecake Factory where I'm working at and stuff like that. Officers ain't taking that many reports and stuff like that. Now, it's due to a lot of stuff not being open, but the bottom line is that, people's houses aren't getting broken into as much. People's shit ain't getting stolen as much no more because there is so much money floating around out there. It's not just because people are at home, but it's due to exactly what you're saying. There's a lot of money floating around out there, so I ain't got to be bipping and doing all that shit.
But it's important to do the right thing with it, because we don't get too many chances of getting this kind of free money. So, when you get it, you gotta just bust the right moves with it, something that's gonna last. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna lie, it's been some real long lines at the Montclair and YSL and the Louis stores, you feel me, and Chanel, but they gotta put some of that money up and do some stuff that's gonna last, so you don't be back at back where you started from, and then you have to pawn off all the expensive things you just came across too.
Go ahead, P.
So I had a question because Akis had brought up buying real estate. I think it was just said a couple of times, buying real estate outside of California. And for some people, that may be an ideal thing because they're like, California is too expensive. Maybe I should start somewhere else. What would be your suggestion on how to go about that process? Is it you hit a website, you got a person that goes to different auctions and they just hear about different properties? Like, what's the steps you take to go, you know what, I see something in, Louisiana, and this is a nice cost, I want to do it?
Well, I would say, first of all, I have to say I've never bought anything out of state, only because I'm into buying below market deals. And since I'm right here in California and I'm going to put in that work to find a below market deal, if I was to go somewhere else and do it, like some of these cities got a lot of money, but it's like if I do it here, I can get something that has a lot of equity. But the way to go, but it's not a bad idea. What I would do, you feel me? I would get on Redfin. If you're trying to buy some single family or some 4 units and under, you feel me? Then if you're trying to really go big and buy some commercial, get on LootNet and just pick your city, LootNet ad or Redfin or Zillow, any of that, and pick your city and see. You plug my laptop in and just see what you're trying to buy and do your numbers. Like basically look at how much your mortgage is going to be. Look at how much your property tax is going to be. Look at how much your garbage is going to be. Look at how much your water is going to be unless you got separate meter fees unit. And just make sure you're making a profit. Like with me, I got to have, like, honestly though, like the way I find deals, I be wanting my rents to give me all my money back in like 6 years, 5 years or less, or I don't even want the house.
Like that. Go ahead, Dewan. You gonna say something, Dewan? I was gonna ask him a question.
Oh no, let me laptop in, and I'm gonna be plug it in right.
What I was gonna say is, we gotta be mindful and careful though, because although we on Braspective, when we talking how we talk, there's a lot of people out here who got some EDILs and some PPPs, and they think it's free money, not recognizing and understanding that you know, in certain situations, they got to pay that back. Now, the benefit of it is, right, the benefit of it is, when are you going to be able to get a loan at such a low interest rate, which is such a long, you know, pay period for just your average Joe and your average business? That's the benefit. But it's a lot of people, like you said, YSL, you know, Ben's dealership and all that, instead of taking it how to flip it.
I'm gonna tell you a play I put my young partner on. Boom. So he did the EIDL SBA, right? He got 50 G's. You feel me? So with his 50, he went out of state and bought 2 houses in Grand Rapids. You feel me? They renting out. I forgot how much his payment. I think his payment on the 50 is like $300 or something. He getting like $600 a spot. You feel me? So he making a profit. He's like he collecting $1,200 and he paying $300. You feel me? So what is that? $9 every month for the rest of his life, and he's still paying off the loan, the EIDL loan. So he probably has a little bit more expenses because he has the water and garbage and that kind of stuff that I mentioned. But at the same time, he's making some money. He busted a good move. You know what I mean? It's giving him some residual.
But look at that though. Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
No, go ahead.
But look at that though, right? Like, and every time y'all talk, I'm just gonna bring this back to a base of people that are really heavily on my mind right now. One of our people is out here taking that PPE money, that 50, and putting 45 or 40 on some brand new Porsche or G-Wagon or something like that, right? But they got the credit score to get in that G-Wagon for $600 or $700 or $500 a month, or get in that Porsche for $600 or $500 a month. And they only got to pay for that Porsche or that G-Wagon or whatever it is that they bought for 5 years to 4 years, whatever term they set up for. But what Aikis is talking about, that same person could have came out with enough money to do a no money down and pay that car off so that they are riding in that car for free.
And so, money.
So instead of spending that 50 up front and not having it no more, just to come through the neighborhood knocking, doing what you're doing, you could have literally take the long play on that, and then 5 years later bounce back on their ass in something new. And then if you were smart, right, and if you hustling like a hustler hustles, hustling like a dope boy hustles, hustling like a drug dealer hustles, you would have said, I'm gonna re-up on that and I'm gonna do the same thing 2 times. Now I'm getting $1,800 a month. I'm gonna do that one more time. I'm gonna do that one more time. Next thing you know, you up to $2,700, $3,500 a month, and you ain't even working. Free money. And then you say, you know what, like a lot of people are doing right now, because and we're just gonna keep it lit as hell on here. A lot of white people are doing right now. A lot of other people are doing right now. They're making plays in Idaho, Texas, any place out of California that's not as expensive, and taking that same $3,500 or $4,500 a month that they're gonna get and parlaying that into a $2,200, $2,300 a month house and living off that money and just chilling. Like, if you could just have the discipline that you have, that comes, the resilience that you have from being in unfortunate circumstances or learning how to endure, if you could just channel that into what these guys are talking about right now, you might be able to go make a play somewhere out of state where you don't have to do nothing but wake up and do what you're doing right now with a whole lot more money than you were doing it in California without the risk and types of shit you got to do in order to be in that position. Like, I'm listening to what you're saying right now as a person who wants to buy a Porsche, might buy a Porsche this year. I'm always on the borderline fence of it. It's just got to make sense. But I'm like, damn, when I think about the reason I haven't bought a Porsche is because every time I have a conversation with Aikis and Percy, it's like, no, I'm going to keep banging this little whatever I'm banging down the road every day, because I could potentially take that same money and make a play into something where the residual income lasts a lot longer than a car note does.
Yeah, and then not only that, you'll have a Porsche every year. You know what I'm saying? The new one. Wow. Then give it to your kids. They're going to be Porsched out. You know what I'm saying? Because by then inflation to go up. You know what I'm saying? They be collecting more money. You know what I'm saying? And a whole long line of your offspring Porsched up. You know what I'm saying? Just by making the right moves with that money that you got your hands on. You feel me?
I like that. That actually is a perfect segue. Go ahead, Jeff, because I know you had something, and then I had something I want to ask Percy.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Percy real quick. It's always this myth or like this thing about in our community, like, I don't want to put my money in the bank or keep your little money in the shoebox, or, you know, all that kind of little talk that we have. We all do it. I got some money in the shoebox upstairs, but it's one of them things like, what's the importance of, or I say just debunk the myth. why not just put your money into your bank versus keeping it in your shoebox?
You know, I want to speak on that too. A lot of people that basically say that, they're not the people going to work. They're the people that's making illegal money to where they're not allowed to put it in the bank. You know what I'm saying? But see that, but all they got to really do is start a little business corporation or something and start putting that money in the bank, like as if you making profits off it and pay taxes on it. Because it's good as long as you don't get caught doing what you're doing. Once you get caught doing what you're doing, you caught anyway. You know what I'm saying? So that's the least of your concern, but you can use that to get the money in the bank, because without putting the money in the bank, your options of what you could do in life is limited.
Limited, right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You can't spend it on nothing real that's going to help you do nothing. You feel me? So.
Well,
100%.
Keith talked about being able to take money and be able to not just get yourself a Benz, but get your offspring a Benz. There's always been this myth, and not necessarily a myth, this pathway. The best way out of poverty is education, right? And so in our community, in the African American community, there has been a movement in which we want to make sure that our kids don't have to take out loans and all that. And we've been saving and saving and preparing. Percy, what is a 529 plan, and how does that put our children possibly in a position to where they could get that Porsche or that Benz a lot sooner in life?
So 529, remember, restricts you as the parent or the guardian who puts that money forward for their child strictly for their qualified education, right? So if you take it out for any other means, you're going to have that 10% penalty, and with that 10% penalty, it's going to go as ordinary income as well, right? So if you are utilizing it to try and pre-save for what you know the inevitable is relative to college with your child, then that's the appropriate vehicle, right? If you're trying to give an opportunity to your kid and you want the money to be designated for your kid's money, then you utilize UTMAs and things like that, where you've given the benefit of long-term growth to the child, but at the end of the day, at 24, the money's theirs. So you got two different ways that you can look at it. If you're trying to, I learned some a long time ago. And this is where we all truly want to strive to be. We never want to be rich. Rich is just high income. Look it up. Rich is just high income. Wealth is the means and opportunity to do what you want to do, when you want to do, how you want to do it.
Yep.
That's what we want. That is the ultimate goal for anybody that's trying to get up and get that hustle in every day. I don't give a damn what your profession is. That grind and hustle, you want to see, damn it, I done got that too. And that's real. And that's what we want. That's what, at least that's anybody I want to surround myself with, they damn sure better want that.
Hey, that's very important, man. The people you surround yourself with, man, is going to account to a large part of your success, because that's who you're talking to. You feel me? That's who you're learning from. That's who you're bouncing ideas off of. You know what I mean? So it's good to try to put yourself around people that can teach you, motivate you. You know, if it's something you want to do, the best way to go about it is put yourself around people doing that. That way you learn how to do it, whether it's be a restaurant owner, whether it's doing real estate, you know what I'm saying, some stock stuff or whatever else it is out there to do. When you're around people doing that and that's y'all conversation, you're going to pick up things every day. So that's what I mean. I do that. I got people that I look up to. That I feel are sharp, you know, even my peers, you know what I mean, that we bounce ideas. I mean, they look up to me, I look up to them, and we just bouncing ideas, the latest little thing, little twist we could do and share game. We call it game exchanging. You know what I mean? Like we doing here in this panel. You feel me?
I agree.
I like that. You know, a mentor, right? Get a mentor as well. You know, no matter how long you've been doing something, how old you are, there's always somebody who's around who's been doing it longer with a little more game that you can get. So I love that.
Or maybe even shorter, but they just got some knowledge you don't got. You know what I'm saying? You can lay on the pavement while you've been doing X, Y, and Z. They've been doing this and that, or just got some new information from somebody else they talking to. And it's just about, because, you know, we're not in school no more, so we got to learn from the people around us. You feel me?
Okay. All right. So Percy, so for the people who are because you know, Akis, he's been doing this for a while. You know what I'm saying? He's natural entrepreneur, born entrepreneur, right? And I think what ends up happening is people think just because you got an idea, you're an entrepreneur, and that's not necessarily the case, right? Because when you flipping homes or you owning businesses, you got to take account for what you can get as well as the losses. And a lot of times, people with ideas, they ain't even thinking about the losses or even about putting the work into it. So when you think about people who are investing, what are the three types of investors that we typically come across, mindset wise?
Relative to my industry,
yeah, it could be your industry.
You have grinders, right? Mm-hmm. Who are going to try and work through and try and make it happen however they can. Mm-hmm. You got miners, people who can find opportunity and get in there, fix it, and make it happen. And then you truly have those people who can rainmake. Mm-hmm. And that's a rare opportunity. But how Akis was talking about it, it's all about the network. It's all about who you can get yourself in front of that's going to give you the time. Look, man, you don't got to figure it out. It's already there. You just need somebody to give you a little bit of seed of game and like that mustard seed bloom on your own. But you got to have that real acute grind, because it's easy to get the $600. It's not easy to know what to do with it. You know? That takes some discipline, you know? I mean, Akis spoke about it real hard. He said, look, he's seen all his players out there doing it, bossing it up, going in players and doing it all big, but he had to lock it down. He had to bag up like an 8-leg and bag his money right. Now he's able to make the moves. It makes a difference. It makes a true difference. I mean, look, a dollar ain't worth shit until you need it, right? So if you count them all day, you just look back one day and you'd be like, the opportunity to present and you can get in there. But it takes your real effort if you want a different result from what you've been getting. And if you just want to take the 600 or whatever the supplemental plan, and it'll keep going for a minute because they're going to come out with another big plan after this 900 billion is gone. Trust me on that, right? And it'll be another one. But take the opportunity. I mean, Akis just spoke about a whole bunch of different avenues that I'm listening to this shit. I'm like, for real? For real. Okay. You see, not where I was wired at to go look at, but opportunity is opportunity. Don't piss away the opportunity. That's the whole piece. If it's free bread, make that bread do something for you. And that's how I look at it. Grinders, miners, and you got those start makers. Those are them type of investors. And they all come out at that same level too, most times. Right? But if you are a miner and you have the forethought to try and get under somebody's wing to make things really happen for yourself, you can be pretty damn good. Going back to that other question where you talked about how, especially when you're looking at out of state, that's another piece of that network. You gotta not only do that due diligence on the front line, but you need somebody that's on the foot on the ground out there, right? Oh, and you gotta build that relationship. And right now, in light of where we are, you can go call you a brother and sister in Georgia, North Carolina, Atlanta, Ohio, and they will take your call and they will want to talk to you. And then if you really bossing from California, they truly want to talk to you because they think everybody in California all on their bread anyway. So I'm just saying the opportunities are out there, and Akis, bro, we got to talk because I'm thinking what we should be looking at is not here. I know this where your specialty is, but offline, we got to talk about some other things that I think would be more advantageous, especially in a longer term fashion.
But you know what it is, though? With me, I want to look at some of that too, but I like being in a position where once I spend my money, the investment has enough equity to where I can pull my money right back out and recycle it and do something else. And in some of these other deals, it's kind of hard to do that unless you're out there finding it below market. You know what I mean?
But see what it is, because of where you came from in the Bay, the entry points are so low out there that you can make the parlays happen. I'll run the number and you'll see what I'm talking about. I feel where you're coming from.
It's gonna be some deals coming up in this commercial, far as like the office sector, man, because the way that this pandemic real estate has playing out, a lot of people are working from home, and a lot of these companies are feeling like, man, they don't have to be at work. So a lot of these office buildings are not going to fill back up. So honestly, today when I was in the shower, I was just thinking like, man, what can I do? I'm thinking I may want to get some of those office things and maybe do some SRO, single room occupancies, and try to line it up and get some government money or just something with that real estate and turn it from commercial office into residential somehow. You know what I mean? Get it for cheap and bust that move. I kind of was looking into that because I hate to say it, but a lot of these companies realize, damn, we can let these people work from home. And they like working from home because a lot of people are, that don't have families. They lay in Tulum and they in Mexico. They traveling the world, just opening their computers, getting down. You feel me? And they don't want to go back to work. And the companies are like, man, they shouldn't come back here because now we don't have to pay that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe certain insurance bills and other bills that came with having people in the office that don't need to be there. You feel me? They don't need to be there. And now since they're from home, they can have a bigger work staff. And what I've been researching is productivity's been a lot higher too, working from home for certain people. You know what I mean?
Brick and mortar dead. You know what I mean? In that way, with businesses, because businesses are looking at it right. I can send y'all home. You use your own electricity, your own water, your own toilet paper. You use all your own stuff.
You tripping forward yourself.
Right. And all we got to do is give you a laptop and give you a VPN. And you're going to go to work. And because you're working from home, you kind of feel like you need to, work a little harder, keep the laptop open and stuff of that nature. So you're going to see a lot of companies adjusting that, especially like out here in Texas right now. It's a lot of people not at work. They just working from home.
Everywhere.
So they said on the news, about 2 weeks ago that I think it was Fox News that 30% of people, they had to go back to. No, I'm talking about our local Fox News, the Bay Area Fox News, not Fox.
Hey man, we don't discriminate, man. We mess with all news networks, man. We good.
Different opinions and different points, so we can always stay on point. You feel me? But what I heard was that 30% of people in a survey said if they had to return to a normal work environment, said they would quit their job. So y'all are onto something already. That first of all, I'm sure more than 30% of businesses have left San Francisco in general, but in the Bay Area as a totality, 30% of people Bay Area wide are like, if I got to go back to the office every day, I'll quit my job and find a work from home establishment. So y'all are definitely on the right point with that.
And there's brick and mortar kind of goes out like we discussed. You feel me? And physically shopping is kind of dying down.
Mm-hmm.
The logistics companies like warehouses and stuff like that you can store things in just until you ship it to where it's going. My cousin, he just got on a property he owns. He locked it in with Lyft to store some of their vehicles or something like that for like 70 G's a month. It's good money, and you got to just kind of look at where things are going and kind of place your bets. I mean, it's all a gamble, but you want to have a calculated risk, man. If this is going to do, and have more than one plan with it, just in case that particular plan doesn't work. You know what I mean? Hey, just because I'm saying I'm gonna do it, if it don't work and you tried it, that's your problem. You can do your own research. This is my thoughts, what I'm gonna try to do. If it don't work, I gotta live with that. You know what I'm saying? But I think it'll work. You know what I mean? Especially turning that, even if you start small and turn a small office into some residential somehow. Because I was thinking of how these office buildings are set up. It's like little rooms and it's like bathrooms in the hallway. That's perfect for an SRO. SRO is a single room occupancy. You find them in like downtown areas, like homeless type of situations where they give you a room and y'all all share a bathroom on that floor.
On the East Coast, that's a big East Coast. You share one bathroom in a whole building, and everybody has their own little small apartment. So
not to mention, you got people that's occupying storage units, right? You know what I'm saying? Because of the ability to get housing. So if you got people that's willing to go in a storage unit and try to make it a place to to rest and put a bed and stuff in there, I can imagine somebody saying, okay, we're gonna come into this office building. I'm gonna pay $400 a month, and I got this room. I just got to share, community bathroom.
Listen, they might not even. Or like if you get it by college, I don't know when college are going back and be a dorm situation. If you get it by like in the city, and especially California, because I kind of look at little different bills and laws that's being passed to figure out how I can work my twist. California basically allocated a whole lot of money to housing the homeless. You know what I'm saying? Right now. So I'll basically, in my mind, you feel me? I'm finna get some of that homeless money until that's ran out. You feel me? I started my nonprofit so I can get some of that homeless money. And then from there, when they doing something else, I do something else with the property. You know what I'm saying? But you kind of got to look at what's going on with the state that you live in too, where they like what they paying for. Like I got a whole, like right here, man, I just housing the homeless. I got like, I don't know, like 20, 23, 24,000 worth of checks right here on this table. And I got like another like 15 G's coming just from housing the homeless. You know what I'm saying? This month. And it's going to come again next month. You feel me? And I'm just getting started. I'm trying to get to 80 G's a month just off that. You feel me? That's my goal. But they definitely doing that. So I'm just looking at everything that's going around me, looking what's going on in the world, looking how they allocating this bread and trying to just claim my money and talking to other people like I'm talking to y'all, other people getting ideas off them. Look, and that's how you do it. You feel me?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Free game.
You know,
Free game.
They're looking at letting everybody go back to school because that's my area this fall. So you may be onto something. You know, colleges are going to probably start bringing students back in the fall. So.
Think about that. So them little office buildings, it'll be like a little dorm. If you get a little office, it's not too far from the college. Turn it from office because it's empty into some residential. You feel me? It already got the bathroom there. Throw your bunk beds in there and get to rent it out. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody who has that's paying a mortgage on that, they not thinking about no other ideas but office. They damn near in foreclosure right now, if not already foreclosed on. You feel me? Or the second the moratorium ends, they're gonna be first on the list getting their shit took. And you can probably get it for dirt cheap. You feel me? Even if you start off with like a little tiny one with just 2 offices in it, just to see what it do. You feel me? Then you might get the 30 offices in there, or whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna give it a shot, man, because especially first of all, I gotta be cheap or I ain't gonna fuck with it. But if it's cheap enough, it's worth it. It's worth it. You know what I mean? You know, so
love it. I love it. A lot of free game, man. You know, I appreciate, you know, both of you fellas jumping in on this with us to start off the new year. We're trying to start it off right, man. We're trying to position people to start thinking about ways that they can make money. Because obviously one thing that the pandemic showed us is sometimes that employer, you can't really trust them, right? And so again, figuring out ways that you can make money that can turn into wealth. Not just money to pay your bills, but money that your kids can eat on, your kids, and the kids that you ain't gonna never see can eat on, right? Making sure that you have that opportunity. So, you know, I appreciate you. But before we jump off, I wanted to. Oh, go ahead, P.
So I wanted to say one, yes, you're right, because we're one decision. If you're employed, you're one decision away from being unemployed, to be honest, because somebody else is making unemployment. But the second one is, for Keith, he didn't get to say best context. So if somebody wanted to just consult with him to say, hey, how can I just do something? And he got some kind of
say that.
You might as well just make a consulting firm, Keith.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this damn near hit me on Instagram, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I be getting so many random phone calls. Then I'm already consulting my partners, right? Okay. Then if I don't mind consulting you, but it's gonna cost you. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
I got women I'm trying to talk to. You understand me? I got kids. I got this and that. You know what I'm saying? So, but
no, we're talking about
man, cash out Wiz Kid on Instagram, man. That's probably the best way to shoot me a DM.
Cash out Wiz Kid.
Dollar signs in front of the first thing you need to put is dollar signs and then your question. And then we're gonna talk about you paying for it. Because if I don't see those dollar signs, I'm gonna go right past it, man.
So one more time, you said cash out which kid?
Cash out rich kid. Cash out rich kid on Instagram. That's the best way.
No, if he doesn't answer, you got to start a consulting firm. Not this ain't free game. This is free game right here. We talking about they need to consult with you.
Y'all my brothers, so I got to jump on my brothers, man. But I told myself last week, man, I got to get an OnlyFans. You know what I'm saying? Because these ideas, you know, they valuable. You know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie, I was up last night at a little party with some strippers and shit till like 6 a.m, and I was tired, but I had to get up and come fuck with my brothers, man.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, we appreciate you, man.
You got any parting thoughts, Keith? that you want to say before you anything, any game you want to get to somebody else, something random that we ain't asked? Feel free.
Man, I gotta really think. It's a whole lot of thoughts. I don't know, but like I say, man, is the best thing to try to do, especially for a young entrepreneur, like he say. You know, a lot of this pandemic showed us that a lot of jobs got eliminated fast, so it's good to be an entrepreneur. But even being an entrepreneur, you don't get a retirement. You feel me? So you have to create your own retirement. You know what I mean? And like, you know, the stock market, I don't know much about it, but I know people that are creating their retirements that way. I fuck with the real estate. Some people got some kind of insurance thing where they borrow back against, and I don't know much about that, but people doing that. But whatever you do, pull out your calculator. Let your calculator be your best friend and do the numbers and see if it makes sense.
What about you, Purse? You got anything that you want to offer again? Get your information again so people can make sure they can find you.
You know, like Akeem said, and I said it before he started speaking. If you listen, it all started with stacking your chips. Be stingy to yourself first, then you can get opportunity second. But you got to be stingy to yourself. Even if you're getting this free money, you've got to be stingy up front and not have that impulse, but know that the opportunity needs to provide extra income later on. Not today, later on. You know,
keep in mind, a lot of the homeless people that we see, they got their hands on some money in the 80s. They had business and all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But just like Purse talked about, man, that impulse, they acted on it and blew it, and now they over there in them tents, man. You know?
It can happen. It can happen.
Brothers, man. Oh, go ahead, Purse. I'm sorry.
No, solid with that one right there. I think that'll wrap it right there. You know, just make sure you're prudent about what you're saving and know about how you're spending it.
True.
What about you, brothers, man? Y'all got any parting words for the fans, for the people?
I can just start and keep it simple. I would say from this segment is something that we're trying to usher into the new year is have a different perspective on how you're spending your money and getting your money and stay on top of that, because as we just witnessed, shoot, this country can turn and flip on a dime. So you got to stay prepared. What's it? What was Sugar Free saying? You ain't got to get ready if you stay ready. So
stay ready. You ain't got to get ready, man.
There you go. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm with y'all, man. There's a lot of information, and we feel like we financially literate, financially literate. But there's so much information that's out there that can compound on the information that we already know. And it's always those things. And speaking to person just for the first time, but knowing our Chris for years, they are always open to new ideas. You see how he just ran through all those ideas in his mind just that quick about being fluid. And I got a niche right here, but I want to go that much further. Keep sharpening your tools, man. Keep sharpening your tools and keep going further. I think that's real important.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just in part, and like I said, whether you have access to Percy on the drop of a dime in a phone call, or Ikese on the drop of a dime on a phone call, find you someone that you can have these conversations with, even if it's people that don't know as much, so that you can start building and getting to this point. We all got here just through conversation. And just because I go to Ikese and Percy, they go to somebody and they keep chopping up game like this. So find people that you can have these type of conversations with, no matter what your social class is and economic class is, so that you can build and grow and get to these points. It's obtainable for anybody.
Right.
You know, I think, you know, for me, I always tell people, you know, take a risk, you know, don't be afraid to take a risk. I mean, if you got a bunch of ideas, the thing that keeps those from turning into something that can make you some money is the fear. And you want to be mindful that when you're talking about making money, long-term money, when you talk about building wealth, that fear factor kind of got to get out of the way. So you got to be able to start taking some short-term risks that could turn into long-term risks. So, you know, for us in our community, I know a lot of times we've been conditioned to get money, stick it under the mattress, hold on to it, hold on to every penny. But if you want money to make money, then you got to be willing to spend some money. So just always keep that in mind. There's a lot of things that you can do out there. You got people out there who can give you the game, like Keith, when it comes to real estate, flipping homes. Again, Keith's been hustling his whole life. So, you know, that entrepreneur spirit is in him. You know, you got Percy, who can tell you, you know, how to invest it, how to, you know, get you a 401k, IRA, you know, 529 plan for your kids, things in the stock market and things of that nature. And it's important, man, when you start making money, get you a financial advisor. Get somebody like Percy who you can talk to and can give you some information on what you need to do to make sure your money is protected, and what you need to do to take advantage of tax purposes. Keith told people earlier, start a business. Then start a business, and you use that business to kind of save you in taxes, and then you can do whether it's a nonprofit or an S corp or something like that. So it's the year 21. Let's make 21 better than 20. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate you brothers jumping on with us. We value your time and appreciate it. And we catch you guys next go around.
For sure. Fellas, it was a pleasure. All right, man.
Pleasure for sure.
So good.
Gone.